Hey folks, Al Mattingly, Daviess County Judge Executive, and today we're out at the Operations Center on Highway 81. It's the road that you take to go to Calhoun. And about, a half mile past the roundabout, 3/4 of a mile on the right is the Daviess County Operations Center. You'll see it with a county flag, an American flag, and the state flag. This is the new location of the Regional Real ID Office. It opened up just recently. We started working to get it placed here in September of last year. It opened up after the first of the year. And this is where you come to get your Real ID. Now, Real ID is different than your driver's license. It replaces the driver's license, but it'll also allow you to fly on domestic flights. It'll allow you to go into federal buildings. And that's pretty important because as of October 1st, 2021, you will need a Real ID to do those functions. Let's say you're retired military and you need to get on a military base, you have to have a Real ID. Don't need it for if you need to go to the Social Security office. You still can enter the Social Security office. You can enter a federal post office without the Real ID. All those other things, though, you will need a Real ID. Now, in lieu of it, you could use your standard driver's license and a passport. I don't know about you, I don't want to have to carry my passport around with me. So a Real ID is really important, and you never know when you're going to need one. Let's say that someone is sick in your family, and you have to get there immediately. Now you need to fly. Without the Real ID and without a passport, you're not going to be able to get on a plane. So it's not really expensive. I mean, 8-year Real ID, I think it's $48. 4 years is about $25. Just recently, just last week, as a matter of fact, my wife and I updated our Kentucky driver's license to the Real ID, and there is a $15 upgrade. By that I mean I don't have to really renew mine until next year. My wife didn't need to renew hers until 2023, I think, but we did. They charged us a flat $15 fee to upgrade. So it's really important. We're going to go back in the Real ID office here in a minute, and I'm going to talk to you about some of the requirements, some of the qualifications that you need to avoid what happened to Judy and I when we came out. We came out, thought we had everything, had gone online and made our appointments. When we got here, though, there was a little bit of difference. These folks are super nice. They're here to help you. They're here to make this experience as easy as possible. You also can renew your driver's license. If you're going to renew a driver's license, a regular driver's license, you can do it here by going online and making an appointment. If it's a first-time driver's license, young folks, you need to go to the Judicial Center. The circuit court clerk still is in charge of those driver's licenses. But I can tell you that between now and June 30th of 2022, there is going to be a transition where you will come out to the Operations Center, to the Real ID office, and you will get new driver's license. You'll do change of name and address. You'll do all the things that you used to have to go to the circuit court clerk. We wanted it all located in one place. Hopefully, the state police will have an office here too, where they can give you the written test and where you can take the driving test. So let's stop for a second. We'll walk down the hall, follow these signs, and go into the Real ID office. I am now in the office of Real ID. This office, as a matter of fact, the entire division or section is managed by Chris Sharp. I'm trying to get him to come over here and get on the film here in a minute. But let me tell you about an experience my wife and I had. Very easy to go online and to make an appointment. We did that. There was no problem at all. We showed up on time. Very accommodating. They looked at all the documents that we were supposed to have. As a matter of fact, I had gone down through there and we clicked it off, and we just knew that we had everything that we were going to do. So we sat down with Chris and he reviewed the documents. And mine was perfect. P-E-R-F-E-C-T, perfect. Unfortunately, my young bride had renewed her Social Security number when we got married changed her card, and she had put Judy instead of Judith. Well, it didn't match up, and we had nothing else to go along to prove that Judy was really Judith. They were super nice. Told us what we could use, which was a 1099 in her name with her Social Security. I did mine. This is the end result. And they take a really horrible picture of you too, folks. I'm telling you. This is the result. That's a copy for me to use while I'm awaiting my real ID. They stapled my real driver's license, punched a hole in it, stapled my driver's license to this. And this is good. If I was going to fly, if I needed to identify myself, this is good. You want to keep this with you until you get your real ID. Anyway, I said, look, if we go home and get the document and come back, and they said, we'll work in, no problem. And they did. So Judy and I both got our license. If we had had that other piece of paper, if we had looked closely at these valid proof of documents that you can see on the board, we would have both been in and out within 15 minutes. That's how simple and how easy it is. And once again, I want to reiterate, you don't need the real ID if you're never going to fly, if you're never going to go into a federal building. You don't need a real ID to go into a federal post office or the Social Security office. But anything else, you would need a real ID or your regular driver's license and a passport. Passport is pretty good. But Judy and I brought passport with us, bought birth certificates with us, we bought marriage license with us, some mails that had our name and address on it, 1099. I mean, you can bring, there's a whole list of things, and it's really easy when you go to make your reservation to come out and do it. There's a whole list that you just fill out, and you punch the things that you have, and it'll tell you whether or not you have what's necessary. Simple process. Really pleased and happy to have these folks here in Daviess County with us. As I said before, next, I think it's in 2022, June the 30th, between now and then we'll be transitioning away from the circuit court clerk's office issuing driver's licenses and coming to a one-stop shop for you. Now, right now, you can renew your regular driver's license here. You can change names. You can do all those things. The one thing they can't do out here is an initial driver's license like young folks who would, you know, turn 17 or 18, whatever the age is now. You still have to go to the circuit court clerk. They have an office down there for the written test. They have the state police available to give the driver's test, hopefully. And I'm absolutely certain we'll be transitioned over within the next 12 to 15 months. So, Chris, come and tell us. Come and talk to us a little bit.
Okay. Well, like I said, 16-year-olds still need to make an appointment at KentuckyStatePolice.org to set up their testing for the permit testing. Otherwise, we can take care of everything else out here with anything except to do with the testing. And that's done through the Kentucky State Police's website, KentuckyStatePolice.org.
The judge was referencing a website and also that ID document quiz. Can you give folks?
Yes, sure. That's at drive.ky.gov. You go there, you can click on to get the new driver's license, and you can actually go through all the documents that you need to bring through there. There's a sample, that'll do a personalized document list if you go and answer questions. There's a list, this list is on there. And there's actually at the top of the page a yellow banner. You'll click on that to make an appointment for Real ID. Choose Owensboro and you can pick your date and time. And we have plenty of openings if you want to make one.
Do I need an appointment to come out here?
We will see you as a walk-in. I do recommend not coming between the hours of 11 and 1 as a walk-in. We're at half staff for lunches at that time. And if there is any waiting to be done, it will be done between those 2 hours. So, but if you come in the morning, come in the afternoon, we'll be glad to work you in.
And just once again, Chris, and I'll repeat it, the website,
drive.ky.gov.
drive.ky.gov. Now, I couldn't remember that, so I just went online, typed in Real ID Kentucky, and it gave me a list of regional sites. I picked Owensboro, punched it, and it all was pretty simple. So, folks, there's no reason to be afraid of this process. It's absolutely easy. These men and women out here are here to serve you, and they will bend over backwards to make sure that this process is as simple as possible. I know we continue to get questions about the Real ID and the process that you've got to go through. All the information that you see here, all the information I've given you, all the information that Chris has given you is on that website. Very simple. So until I see you again, have a nice week.